Okay, I think we're live. Hello everybody. I know this is a little bit later than my usual one, but yeah, I think it's going to be alright. I'm just making sure everything's okay here. I'm doing this a little bit differently, and the new, studio beta on YouTube, it's a little different than I'm used to in terms of the layout, so I'm trying to figure that out. Just, I figured I'd try something new, but it's not giving me kind of like a dashboard that I'm used to, or something that I'm kind of want to see, because I want to see the chat and I want to interact with you guys, but it's not really giving me anything like that. So, I think I'm just going to do my usual thing of, saying, see you later, Studio Creator Beta, and, going out. And I love this. When you try to leave, it's just like, thanks for trying out the new experience, even though it's been here for 6 months. We're still working to make things better. Why did you leave? And the first one is, I have an urgent task, and I know how to use the regular one. And then it asks you, please, tell us why. And I'm like, well, it's an urgent task. I don't have time to tell you why. So I'm just going to submit that and go back to the regular beta, or the usual studio, because at least there I can see what you guys are telling me, which... that's why I'm all here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the live stream area. And this is going to be a Q&A, so, yeah, please use that chat box and ask some questions, because that's why I'm here. I'm kind of excited for that. I have some pre questions already loaded on, and now that I'm finally able to see the chat box, I can finally say hello to you guys instead of just guessing what you guys are saying. Hello everybody. Oh, thank you, Cody. Cody's saying that he likes my my Haken video recently. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I put a lot of thought into that one. Plan to do a few more of those once I find some time. These next couple of weeks are going to be pretty bonkers and bananas for me, which is part of the reason why I'm doing a live stream instead of a straight up new video, because I don't know when I'm going to find time to actually record any new videos. I hope to get something out probably next week. This week is just a little too busy and hectic for me to get anything out, so I'm hoping next week. So yeah, and as to Paul's question, because this is a Q&A, so I'll be answering all those questions. I reached out to Twitter, and this is my usual plug for, hey, if you want to, follow me on Twitter, you can do that. It's the usual note reviews, and that's where I usually reach out for things like that. Ooh, and I'm just gonna. We're just going to listen to the whole thing. Fresh Air 3 from Mannheim Steamroller. We're going to start right from the beginning, and I think we'll listen to the full album, and that will be a night. It's not going to be a very long Q&A. It's just going to be I'm thinking about 45 minutes or so. And that's going to be it. And I usually use this music to test the volumes. So I figure, you know what, let's just listen to the whole thing, because I love Fresh Air, and I love this kind of music. And do let me know in the chat if the volume levels are off. I've got my headphones on so that I can hear and kind of see. And if you're wondering what that background noise is, I've got my dryer going, because this is literally the only... today was my only day off within the past month, so I had to, squeeze everything into this one day. And I was hoping to get some filming done, but that didn't happen, so that's... Anyway, getting off course. Paul is asking if I thought of doing a Spock's Beard worst to best, and I have, and I've actually been kind of thinking about that more and more. The only thing is, all of the Morse albums are behind a paywall wall, and I don't have all of Morse's albums. I have 5 or V, and I have Snow, and I've listened to Afraid of Darkness, but the problem is, because of that paywall, I can't get the rest of the music. And so that's where I would love to do a Spock's Beard's worst to best, but it's that paywall that's kind of negating me. At the moment, at least. I thought about getting Waterfall, Neil Morse's app, but it is $6 a month, and I can justify it if I'm buying, I usually buy one album from him every other year, but still, that's not that doesn't quite justify $6 a month. So yeah, I probably won't be doing that. Anyway, wow, this is really getting off course. Although this is my Q&As, right? I usually go sputtering off course. So I have thought about doing a worst to best, but probably won't be for a little bit now. Have I heard the new Taylor Swift song? I have, yeah. I listened to it once all the way through on Friday. Really, really liked it. Probably have to listen to it a few more times. I'm getting a groove of the new album from her. Because she has released, you know, it is Lover, and it's coming out on the, August 28th, I think it was? Late August. And I don't know, I'm kind of indifferent at the moment. I have a feeling it's going to groove on me, but, you know, what I fell in love with was, like, her Red and 1989 albums, so this is just kind of moving a little bit further away, but I don't want to judge an entire album off of 2 singles so far. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I'm going to move it back up. Looks like lots of people are asking questions. That's amazing. I'm going to try to get to as many of these as I can. I've got a backlog of Twitter questions as well that I'll be going to. Let's see here. What do you think about the new Thank You Scientist album? So my buddy Matt O'Leary and I, who I've paired up with in the past, we will be doing that. We're planning to film it on Thursday, our review about it, because we're doing a collab on that, because he was the one that actually got me into Thank You Scientist. So we'll be doing that recording on Thursday, and it will be on his channel. So I don't want to give too much away, because I do want you guys to go over to his channel and have a watch of the full, like, album review. Quick first impression is I love it. It's a little long. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Let's see here. You should do a, so your A6ULDV8 is saying you should do a worst to best of Tool with the new album coming out. Yeah, I'll see. Tool fans scare me though. I don't know if I want to do a worst to best with a Tool fan base. Let's see here. So Alonzo, hey my boy right back. What do I thought of is it Sinkadosh? New York is my second favorite album of all time. Never heard of it, so I'll have to check that out. Chip Davis and Co. Yeah, love me some Chip Davis. Matthew knows what's going on. He's looking to earbuds, and it's fine. Thank you for putting on. Oh, amazing. Oh, Leonard has discovered Southern Empire. Yeah, their second album that was released last year was such a good album. Like, I'm still listening to it to this day, and it's still giving me cheers. You got to see them supporting. Oh, that would have been a great show if you got to see them last week supporting Haken. That would have been a great lineup. Let's see here. Vishnu is asking, have I heard about the progressive metal band Sky Harbor? I believe I have. I want to say I did a review of theirs, but I can't remember. Their name sounds familiar. And thank you so much for liking my Lazaralis review. I love that album. It's so good. Let's see here. Frankie's saying that they just discovered Taiga. Is it Taiga? The Japanese band? Ooh, amazing. I'm glad you found that. Opeth's new album is going to be in 2 different languages. What do you think? Yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to work. I wonder, like, is each song going to have a little bit of Swedish in it, or are they going to release it twice, one in English and one in Swedish? I haven't actually done a whole lot of research about that yet, so I think that'll be kind of fun. Yeah, because I know, like, the one band that I know that does that a little bit, I mean, Arcade Fire does that with French, not quite as much as they used to, for sure. But I always love when a band switches between languages, because you kind of feel the flavor of the language within the music, because each language has its own little cadence and rhythm styles within it, and how that affects the music styles is always a lot of fun. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how they incorporate that. Yeah. Let's see here. Do you use a music streaming service? Hope you are doing well. Love the videos from Jay Knight. Oh, thank you, Jay. Yeah. So I do use a streaming service. I actually subscribe to Spotify Premium. It's my go-to. They hooked me a while back, because I don't know if you guys remember, but like 2010, 2011, I was using what was it? Shark. Groove Shark, I think it was. And that was like my go-to at that time was Groove Shark. I loved exploring and finding new bands that way. But of course, it wasn't really legit like Spotify was. So I disbanded, and the first one that I found after that was Spotify. And so I was listening to Spotify for a while, and I didn't like the fact that I couldn't listen to things on the go. So I decided just to go for the premium on that, and I've been pretty pretty satisfied with Spotify so far. They just did a recent change of the interface on my phone that I'm not a big fan of, because before, when I used to go to my library, I could see like the latest 30 albums I think that I've listened to, and because of how I listen to music, I usually listen to the same ones over and over again for my reviews. And now that they've gotten rid of that, I'm not too pleased about that, but I'll find my way around it. So yeah. Let's see here. It's all good, Tool fan. Libs can grow back. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I would rip them apart, I guess? I don't know. Leon's saying. Can I talk about my favorite video game soundtracks? Oh, yes, I can. Oh, man. So, video game soundtracks are fantastic. If any of you guys are students, it is the best music to listen to while studying, because it's literally made for you to pay attention. Because, they want you to pay attention to the game. So, like, the reason why video game music is so good to study to is because it actually actively forces your brain to pay attention to whatever's going on. So, I mean, growing up, I had the Sega Genesis, so, like, soundtracks such as, like, Sonic 2, Subterranea, actually, is brilliant. If you guys can find the Subterranea soundtrack on YouTube from the Sega Genesis, just gorgeous. Like, most of the time with a soundtrack, especially back in the 24-bit, the one between 32, I think it was. Yeah, because it went from they would only have like about a minute and a half before it would loop back around, but Subterranea had like a good 7 minutes before it loops back around, and it's just like futuristic synth Armageddon is what it is, and it is just so good. That's a really fun soundtrack. And of course I played Doom on the computer, so that one brings back a lot of memories. And then I really got out of video gaming. Like, it's only been recently, since Easter, that I've picked up my Switch, and I've been listening to soundtracks on that. But I do remember loving the boss fight 2 from Sonic 3D Blast. I love that. I love that groove section on that. Really a lot of fun. But yeah, love the soundtracks. And Final Fantasy X might be my favorite. Just with that piano suite of Welcome to Xanathar? I want to say it's Xanathar. Anyway, yeah, love the soundtracks. I actually have the Earthworm Jim soundtrack on vinyl in my collection because I thought that was a lot of fun. Okay, that's enough rambling on about that. Let's see if we can get some questions. Raymond, hey, what's up, brother? Love your videos. I love you, Raymond. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're enjoying my videos. That's great. Let's see here. Admani is asking if I like, is it Alkaloid? Prog band from Germany. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah. Vishnu is asking what's my favorite song from The Contortionist. Ooh. I can't pick one out of off the top of my head, so can't really say that right off the top of my head. So let's see here. Gio is asking who's the better producer and who is the better musician between Devin Townsend and Steven Wilson. Well, I feel like that's kind of a... I mean, my gut reaction is obviously that Devin Townsend is the better musician and that Steven Wilson's the better producer. Excuse me. Like, Steven Wilson's 5.1 surround sound mixes are unbelievable. I mean, you can't listen to a lot of his work without being submerged in that 5.1 surround sound mix. And so from a producer standpoint, especially what he's done for rejuvenizing a lot of classic albums, like what he's done with Gentle Giant and what he's done with Yes and what he's done with Jethro Tull, with all of their albums have just been fantastic. So as a producer, He has just been like, he's kind of like the golden boy in that sense. But I mean, as an actual musician, he can't really hold a candle when it comes to creative outpour like Devin Townsend. Like, Devin Townsend has just that mad scientist brilliance. Like, the range within his vocals is, you can't beat it. And the actual, like, technical finesse that he has on the guitar work. I mean, Steven might be a little bit more transferable because he does a lot more stuff on, like, atmosphere and the synths and the piano work. But I think the range that Devin has kind of trumps that. So, yeah, that's a really good question, though. I really kind of liking that. I've been listening to tons of Harmonium. This is Jay Knight. I actually saw a show produced by their singer. Oh, that's fantastic. I would have really liked to see that. Let's see here. No Name is asking, what do you think about Final Fantasy soundtrack, specifically Final Fantasy VI? I don't know. I haven't actually heard Final Fantasy VI. If I'm being completely honest, I've only played about half of Final Fantasy VII. The only one that I've played... No, I've also played Final Fantasy XII halfway through. I haven't finished those ones. I got halfway through Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance. And I think I played about halfway through Final Fantasy X-2. So the only one that I've listened to all the way through is... or played all the way through, rather, is Final Fantasy X. Yeah. Raymond is also saying that he loves my videos. Thank you so much again, Raymond. That's awesome. A couple suggestions for worst to best. Fish and the Black Crows. Ooh, I'm not familiar with the Black Crows. I'll have to see that. I am familiar with Fish. I haven't heard his music. Like Phis. Not Fish from Marillion. Do a strapping young lad ranked. Okay, so a little bit of a spoiler alert. I haven't actually listened to any of Strapping Young Lads, so that would be very difficult for me because I don't know where I'd put any of them. Any thoughts on the cleanliness of Steven Wilson? I'm not sure what you mean by cleanliness. Are you talking about like how he never wears shoes on stage? Yeah, I don't know. Have I ever listened to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard from Gallatin Stone? Oh man, I love King Gizzard. So Matt Leary and I, again, I'm name dropping him like crazy. If you guys don't watch him by the end of this, we just finished reviewing their Fishing for Fishes, and I've loved them since I heard Polywan Gondoland, and I love how each album of theirs is completely different from the last. I'm actually going to turn that down just a hair, because at least within my ears it was... So yeah, I really like King Gizzard. Been diving into their collection a lot more, because I've only really heard Nonagon Infinity, Polywan Gondoland, and I really have been getting into Paper Mache Dream Balloon. Really digging that one. And the one that they did with, what is it, they did a collaboration. I want to say it was Impressions from something or other. Really kind of digging that one. Let's see here. Seriously, skip the guts and royalty and look for the Lizard Wizard. Okay, I guess that's cool. Frankie Frank is saying Griffin in the background. Yeah, we're there, right there. Usually I have it over here, but I was listening to this cubby. Actually holds all of my soundtracks, so I was listening to some soundtracks today. Let's see here. Oh, everything is too clean for his... Always thought that his drum sound was too clean. Great comedy boom band from British and Australia. Yeah, I guess Steven Wilson's stuff is too clean, but I don't see that as a hindrance for me. When I was... I guess his music... It kind of lends its hand to being a little too clean. Like, I don't think of Steven Wilson and think of, like, raw power. I think of it more of, like, an emotional outpour. Like, almost a methodical emotional outpour. Like, it's always been a balance between the analytical and the emotional for him. So there's definitely been, like, much more of an analytical analysis of his music and outpour. Whereas other artists are much more of just that raw energy, and I can see with that raw energy needing a little bit less of a clean polish, but yeah, it doesn't really faze me all that much. Dean Martini is saying, what do I think of Mike Oldfield's music? Love your reviews. Oh, thank you, Dean. No, I love Mike Oldfield. I was actually listening to a lot of his works today as I was doing some chores and whatnot throughout. Yeah, I was just listening. I listened to the albums that I have. I've got Tubular Bells, Omadon, Return to Omadon, which is probably my favorite work from him, 5 Miles Out, and I always want to call it like Heritage Ridge, but I know it's not Heritage Ridge. That's what I always call it. Love Mike Oldfield. I really love how he's able to blend a poppy accessible output with like his second last work, which was Man on the Rocks, with like a purely progressive rock stint of like his latest work of Return to Omadon. And he's able to do it better than I think a lot of other artists do it, and I really like that. Let's see here. Jay Knight, do you have any new progressive rock bands to suggest to me? Been looking to expand my current collection with some newer music. Ooh, well, I'm not quite sure what you already know. But Bent Knee is one that just popped right into my head because I know they're coming out with a new album very soon. They're ones that I really, really enjoy. Their song Leak Water is just an absolute masterpiece. Other ones that I can think of without saying things that I know a lot of people already know about. I'll come back to that one because, let's see here. Yeah, somebody had asked me about that. Geo616. Rest in Peace by Megadeth is a progressive rock album, or a progressive metal album. I think a lot of stuff that, especially like Metallica and Megadeth of the big four thrash metal bands, a lot of stuff that they were doing was progressive in nature. So yeah, there's definitely a case for that. Let's see here. Amari, more technical thrash, but it has some proggy tendency. Oh, I see. We're just building up that one. Okay. Which other Quebec prog bands do you know or like? I also know of Canu. I think that's how you pronounce that. Travis Lausch had introduced me to Canu that I really, really enjoyed. But I do know that Harmonium is like the only one that I'm really, really into and the one that I really, really know of. I'm starting to... Oh, there was another one that somebody had... And unfortunately, I won't be able to look it up because, as I was mentioning before, Spotify changed a lot of their stuff. But I want to see if I can't go into that recently. Oh, shoot. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Ah! Figures. Okay. Let's fix that. Sorry, guys. So I'm listening to Spotify on my... Here we go. Let's try that again. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Alright, give me a second. I want it on this one. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry about that. What was it? Oh, it's not going to be here. I would love to tell you which one I was listening to, but unfortunately, because Spotify had changed a lot of their stuff, I can't look at my recently played stuff anymore. Yeah. Sorry about that. I really was enjoying it, too. Oh, well. Well, that's alright. Let's see here. Moving on. What else we got here? You should review... Oh, PFM, yeah. The only one that I know from PFM is it All the World? I think it is. Because the one that I love, like the song that I just can't help but just love is Have Your Cake and Beat It. The ending of that is just wonderful. Let's see here. So maybe if I get into, if I find some more time. Your Mind Fuzz is one that I'm listening to from King Gizzard. Have I heard of the Cardiacs? Yes, I have. I just finished reviewing, so I live streamed their The Man and the World. What is it? The Man in a Window and The Man. Anyway, that one. And then I actually reviewed the album that came out after that one. I can't remember what it's called. But I really enjoy the Cardiacs. Cano If from Ontario. French Ontarians. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. That's actually kind of cool. If you haven't heard them, check them out. Carnival. Yeah, I have heard of it, but I haven't, unfortunately, had a chance to dive into them. Let's see here. Recently played You Should Be in Your Home. Cool, cool, cool. Have I heard Paradise Lost? I have. Yeah, I actually really, really enjoyed Paradise Lost from Symphony X. I don't know if it's my favorite of theirs, but it's definitely one of their strongest works. Yeah, really, really like that one. Okay, I'm going to actually keep those questions coming because I'm really liking the interplay that we have here. There's a number of questions that I got in from Twitter, and I'd feel remiss if I didn't at least get to some of those. Let me see here. Going to that. Yeah, Allen on Twitter had asked what was the worst album I ever reviewed. I mean, I hate to be a broken record, but Abacab from Genesis I still cannot stand. I'm so sorry. Yeah, still can't stand that one. And I think, I want to say it was The Music That Died Alone from The Tangent. I think I really, like, that one almost made me angry. And then Doug asked me if I had listened to the 4 most recent Camel albums, and unfortunately I have not, so I can't give my thoughts on that. And then, there's Gio's question of would I consider Rust in Peace, progressive rock album. Tom M. actually asked me a really interesting question that I wanted to get to, which was what my favorite films were. And it's interesting because a lot of my favorite films, at least the ones that I pull out of a hat, were the ones that came out when I was in my early 20s, or at least the ones that I listened to in my early 20s. I like Emily, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Wall-E, Scott Pilgrim. But it's weird because, I love them because of where I was at that time of my life, and it just resonated and connected with me so hard that I couldn't help but just fall in love with them. I can't, I recently rewatched Emily, and it's still brilliant, and I still loved it, but it didn't kind of, hit me the same way. And I still love Wall-E and I still love Eternal Sunshine, but I did actually rewatch Scott Pilgrim about a half year ago, and as much as I loved it, I'm like, wow, it's still beautiful and I still love it, but I'm like, it didn't age all that well as well, and I guess because I'm no longer in that same mindset that I was in my mid-20s, it's a little bit harder to kind of really get into it. But it's weird because my favorite films are the really long ones that don't kind of go all that anywhere. I love films that a lot of people don't like. I love Avatar, the James Cameron film, but everybody's kind of crapping all over it. But I love it. I love how long it is. I love how epic in scale it is. I love those corny ass lines it's hard to fill a cup that's full, Jake Sully. I can't help but love that. I also love Peter Jackson's King Kong for the same kind of reasons. Apocalypse Now from Francis Ford Coppola. Those really long movies that usually have characters going on a crazy journey. And then of course the ones that are behind me. There are some that I haven't moved for good reason. Okay, and then Daniel asked me a whole bunch that I really, really liked. I already talked about the Taylor Swift's album, Tool's album. Tool's new album I'm cautiously optimistic for. I have a feeling it'll probably be similar in vein, at least reception-wise, to the new the new Perfect Circle album, where it's different than anything else that they had put out, but it's still kind of their essence. Even though the 2 songs that they have previewed on live sets do sound very similar to the 10,000 Days feeling. So cautiously optimistic is probably how I'm doing that. Let's see here. Is there a worst to best that you've heavily changed your mind on? Not really. Because I spend so much time with it because I want to make sure that I get it right. So there's nothing really that I've changed. That's kind of where I have. And then he also asked, where would I put distance over time within my Dream Theater worst to best? I'd probably put it right around the Falling into Infinity area, like kind of in and around there. And then the last one that I wanted to touch on, because again, Daniel had asked a lot of really good questions that I wanted to talk about. And he says, what do you think of Mars Volta returning, and am I scared about Cedric's vocals? I'm excited. I mean, anytime a group that I thoroughly enjoy and love that no longer produces music is toying with the idea of producing music again, I'm always excited for. Again, cautiously optimistic would be the way that I would put it. And I think Cedric is wise enough to know his limitations now. Like, obviously, he's not going to be hitting those same notes and the same beats that he was doing on Deloused and Francis. But I think he'll use a lot more technology, kind of like what he was doing with Tourniquet and Octahedron. Because I kind of like that scaled back. Like, Octahedron is one of my favorite albums from them. I think I put that at number 2. So, yeah, really excited about that. Okay, so those were all the Twitter ones, and I really wanted to get to those because I know I had teased people in the past of saying, like, hey, I'm going to do a worst to best, or I'm going to do a live stream, and then I never end up doing them, especially with these kind of Q&As, so I wanted to make sure that I at least got to those. So, coming back to your guys' questions, because it looks like you guys have been asking me a couple. I think we've got, how much time do we have left? Because as I said, I'm probably only going to be doing like about 40 minutes or so, so... Okay, it looks like we got 2 or 3 more songs, so I'll go for a little bit longer. Let's see here. I joined, and the first... Fargo. Again, I love the brothers. What is it? The Coen brothers. I love their stuff. Haven't seen a movie that has really disappointed me from them. I have a story about Hail Caesar, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So yeah, I think the band, Adami is saying, I think the band Avenged Sevenfold has a lot of prog metal tendencies. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Mike Portnoy came in on Nightmare, I think it was, after the passing of their drummer. So, you like that musical movie Emma Stone's on? Oh, La La Land. I love La La Land. I think it's a masterpiece. I can go on endlessly about La La Land. It's that's probably one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, I kind of judge how much I really, again, it's where I was at the time when I saw it, because I think it came out 2 years ago. Because 2016. Was it 2016 or 2000? Anyway, where I was when that came out, I think I saw it like 5 or 6 times in the theaters because of how much. The music was brilliant. The messaging behind it was brilliant. The style of the movie was brilliant. The whole thing. I friggin' love La La Land. Do you like, Geo616? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. So that's an indication that I don't know who that is, so I can't say if I like them or not. What's my next worst to best? I don't want to take away the surprise, because half the fun is just not necessarily teasing you guys, but making you guys work for what it is. I have picked out the band, so there's a clue. It's a band, it's not an artist. Have I even done an artist? Because I always say it's either a band or an artist, but I don't think I've ever done an artist. Anyway, I've picked out the band, and I hope to get it up mid-July. Am I into Frank Zappa's music? Is it Hank Killer? I really love his work. I love how avant-garde it is. I love how, unusual, and I love the fact that the music industry was okay with that. Because I know a lot of people were, pushing the envelope and trying new things, but I guess, the industry overall wasn't really okay with it, and the fact that they were okay with Frank Zappa's music is what I really, really enjoy. I think my favorite album from him is Hot Rats. I know that's a throwaway answer, but yeah. Let's see here. Have I ever heard of... Oh, boy. Accordo del Contori. I have not heard it. So Scott, I'm sorry, I can't say that. And Hank is saying that he loves my videos. Thank you so much, Hank. That's awesome. How about Fate's Warning ranked? Ooh, that's a lot to get through, and I'm only familiar with about a handful of their albums, so I can't really say too much about that right now. Yeah. And have we run out of questions? Oh no. If we've run out of questions before we run out of music, I don't know what we're gonna do. Am I just gonna like stare at you guys for like the next 4 or 5 minutes? I mean, I think this is the last. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Midnight on a Full Moon. So unless you guys want to keep asking me those questions, we might have to end early, which is fine by me because I'm, you know, got a busy day tomorrow. Let's see here. Oh, we got some more in here. Do I like Richie Blackmore Rainbow? I've never heard of them. All these people that I'm hearing about. And do I like RPI? Prog, the progressive rock. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Italian progressive rock stuff, so that's going to be an undecided for me because I don't know. What are those albums over to my left shoulder with the multicolored spines? Which ones are we looking at? Because I can answer that one. Multicolored spines over my left shoulder. These ones here? Are you asking me about those ones there? If you are, I'm going to assume Yavin? Yahav? No, that was Scott that was asking me that. Those are Peter Gabriel's stuff. That's his real world kind of trademark on there. So it starts with Us, and then it goes all the way through, because I think Us was the one that it started with, because he re-released that one, so I have that one out there. So yeah, that's Peter Gabriel's work. In fact, this cubby here only has Genesis stuff? No, Genesis and King Crimson. King Crimson starts about there. And then all that is Genesis and Genesis family stuff. So like Peter Gabriel stuff. I have a little bit of Mike Rutherford stuff and Tony Banks stuff in there. And then Taylor Swift is on the far side there. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we've got. Okay, so I'm going to start, because I want to get to those last questions, and I see that we're only at 37 minutes. I'm going to start Fresh Air 4, and we'll listen to a little bit of Fresh Air 4. Air 4. Because Fresh Air 4 is my other favorite one that I like to listen to. 1, 2, 3, 5. No, give me 4. Come on. What are you doing here? Albums. Fresh Air 4. There you are. Okay, let's listen to Fresh Air 4. This is their winter album, I believe it is. Anyway, getting away from it. Let's see here. Okay, so we got a few more. So I'll probably stay on for another, like, maybe 5-10 minutes. Let's see. What's my favorite Gentle Giant album? That's a tough one. Favorite Gentle Giant album? You know, it kind of wavers back and forth between their first album, just Gentle Giant, and Three Friends. Yeah, I want to say Three Friends, because I really, really do like Three Friends was the one that got me into Gentle Giant, because I heard Peel the Paint. A buddy of mine played Peel the Paint for me, and I just went, what am I listening to? This is amazing. And then I listened to Octopus, and I wasn't a big fan of Octopus. I am now, but that is definitely like a quintessential grower, because when I first listened to Octopus, I was like, what even is this? But the more I listened to it, the more I got into it, I really started to get into it. And some of their other stuff, like, it still kind of wavers. Like, Gentle Giant is an odd band for me, because it's so different. I really like the epic sounds and the big build-ups and the big moments on prog stuff. I'm not a big fan of like the crazy jazzy let's see how complex we can be stuff. So, yeah, that's where I am with Gentle Giant. Like, they're an odd band for me, which is probably why I like a lot of their earlier stuff, like Acquiring the Taste, Gentle Giant, and The Three Friends. Like, those first 3 albums I really, really dig, before they get, like, really insane. Like, I still love that insane stuff, but, yeah. Let's hear. Best song out of Pale Communion. That's a tough one. Because Pale Communion, like, every time I listen to Pale Communion, I keep thinking that, you know, one song is better, or this song is better, or this song is better. Let me just have a quick look. I mean, I really like Sun Below. Is it Moon Above, Sun Below? Let me just grab that really quickly. Yeah, but I also really love Voice of Treason. So it's either Moon Above, Sun Below, or Voice of Treason. Like, those two are really neck and neck. It's almost like splitting hairs. Oh, Richie Blackmore is the guitarist of Deep Purple. Okay. Sorry. Like, if you had said John Lord, I would have been like, oh yeah. Or Ian, what's his face? The singer there. I would have been like, oh yeah. I keep forgetting about Richie. See, I'm very influenced by my dad, because my dad did not like Richie because of how loud he would drown out all the other players. Yeah. Oh, Scott, you've been wondering that for months. Oh, well, I'm glad I can clear that out. Yeah, so that's, if you see that, that's actually the Real World, his record company, or his record studio. That's their emblem. It's on all of their albums, where he tries to, like, do a lot of, like world music, and fusing all these different things and giving light to a lot of brilliant and beautiful music from all around the world, specifically like Africa and India. So yeah, let's see here. How many records do I own? A lot. I was thinking about counting them one day, but I haven't gotten around to it. A lot. John, have I ever heard of Citizen Kane? I've heard of them. Yeah, because this isn't the first time somebody's asked me to listen to them. So I've heard of them, but I haven't listened to them yet. What is my top 5 favorite bands? See, now Frankie's asking the top 5 favorite bands. I'm very biased because I always want to go to my tried and true answer, which is, you know, the bands that I loved and made me fall in love with music back in my high school years, right? Like, yes, Genesis, King Crimson, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Camel, but you know, and I almost want to say, like, they've built themselves up to be such a pantheon that it's almost impenetrable to get out of that. But honestly, like, Moon Safari is probably now in my top 5 bands of all time, and I hear that they're coming out with new music. Same with Fido. Now, even though Fido's more of an artist than an actual band, but Fido is definitely in my top 5. I mean, I can't not say Haken, for instance. I was re-listening to their catalog the other week, and just I keep forgetting how brilliant they are. And then, of course, like, after I went through high school and I got into university, I was starting to discover other stuff like, you know, Dream Theater and Opeth and Porcupine Tree. So, yeah, it's really hard to kind of, like, narrow down to 5. Yeah. I would recommend Somewhere But Yesterday. Is that a Citizen Kane album, John? You can let me know. Do I know of any other bands like Neo Obliviscaries? Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, everybody keeps saying that they sound so much like Opeth, but I also know that Caligula's Horse sounds very much like them as well, in terms of that. There's another one, though. Oh, what was it? I can picture it in my head. Give me a second, because I know that they're less insane, like less power heavy. Let me just see if I can find it. I can picture it clear as day in my head. In 2017, they got something. If you'll bear with me for a second, I gotta find it, because I just couldn't help but love it. And I will shout them out here. Yeah, Caligula's Horse. Latino. I know a lot of people really like Crippled Black Phoenix, even though I haven't actually had a chance to really dive into them. I know this is riveting music or content right here. It's just watching me scroll through all of my albums that I've saved to my Spotify account, which is a lot. Where is it? Again, can see it clear as day. I want to say it's like harmonium or harmonium. There it is. Hamina, Venus. That was a really great album. Hamina is a really good one. I don't know if they're quite as like complex in style, but I really, really enjoyed their stuff. And then Frankie is saying that their personal favorites are Genesis, Yes, Gentle Giant, King Crimson, and Vandergraaf Generator. Yeah, definitely. Those are all fantastic albums. Whitesnake is also a great band to include in other singers of Deep Purple. Yeah, for sure. Moon Safari, I love Moon Safari, and Scott's saying that. Out of progressive rock, do I like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest? I like Black Sabbath. Really enjoy their stuff. Never was a big fan of Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, although I know that Judas Priest put out a fantastic album last year. I never got around to listening to it, but I hear it's really good. Like, I was never a big fan of either of those, but I do like Black Sabbath. I actually got to see them live once. Then John was oh, no worries to apologize there, John. Don't worry about it. Any thoughts on Sega or Saga? Really like Saga. I think it's Saga. Canadian band. Kind of in the same vein as like Kansas and Styx. Kind of like the North American prog scene from like the 70s. Kind of like rock prog, I guess it would be. I guess that's what progressive rock is. But yeah, I really like their first album. The Perfectionist on the second side is just brilliant. I love the story and I love the piano work. Really, really fun. After prog, what is my favorite style of music? Classical. Love classical. I think it was in my tag Q&A where somebody had asked me what my what if I could only listen to one genre of music forever. I said it was classical because I just love classical. And it's just so versatile. It can be bombastic, it can be complex, it can be like atmospheric, it can be whatever you want. So I friggin' love classical. Saga Led was toured with... Oh! I didn't realize that Saga was still touring around with a Rush cover last year. That's kind of cool. Do you think that progressive punk is possible? Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you look, like, in some respects, like Vandergraaf Generator, if you kind of look at the history, because Vandergraaf inspired Sid Vicious within the singing styles, so there is definitely a progressive tint to punk, even though punk was a direct response to progressive rock and what progressive rock had been in the mid to late 70s. But I mean, even if you look at like the bubblegum punk, that's what I call like, like Green Day and Blink-182 and Sum 41. Green Day put out American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown. Now, it's not like straight up punk, but definitely has that kind of a blending to it. And Frankie Frank is saying that the Cardiacs definitely has that for sure. So yeah, Icaro. Hi. Did I check out the latest Soen album? I did, yes. I had actually did a review of their album, but I wasn't happy with my review because it basically just came down to I didn't have anything to say. And those albums are the hardest to review because, like, it was good, but I didn't have anything to really say outside of it was good. And I wasn't happy with my review of it, and I thought that other reviewers kind of did it a little bit better, so there wasn't anything that I could really add. But yeah, I wasn't like, it's weird. Like, I'm not a big fan of Soen, considering the lineup. Like, you would think that I would really like it, considering the lineup of that. Do I like Long Distance Calling? Mostly an instrumental prog group out of Germany. I haven't heard of Long Distance Calling, so I wouldn't know. Okay, so it looks like we're coming into the 50-minute mark, and I didn't expect this to go any longer than 50 minutes, so I think I'm going to end it there, actually. So I want to thank everybody for coming out and providing a fantastic little Q&A. I am also going to thank my patrons. There we go. So Andreas was the last person that requested a album, so he's still front and center. But I do also want to do a huge thank you and shout out to Matthew, Aiden, Isaac, Jeffrey, Rick, Ted, Bryson, Chris, and Hemulin. I think it's Hemulin. Hey, good cue on that. We got some bombastic stuff. So yeah, a really big thank you to all my patrons. Really, like, I can't believe you guys are actually giving me money. When I first set it up, it was kind of just as a whim, because I had switched jobs and I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I thought this would be a fun way to get a little bit of extra income. So the fact that people are is pretty amazing. So thank you, all of you, for doing that and sticking with me, even though I still need to get on Chris and Olsen's, no, is it Olsen's and Isaac's? I still owe you a album review, and it's coming. It's coming. It's just really, it's part of those. I'm going to take that down. But thank you again. Thank you. Yeah, it's really hard for me to formulate a full album review. Because A, I don't want to let you guys down, and I know that you guys hold these albums in really high esteem, and it's really close and personal to you, and my, where I come from within the music and where I'm coming from is very different, so I want to do it justice, but on the same point, I'm not coming at the music from the same standpoint, so yeah, these have been the most challenging ever. So yeah, thank you let's try that again, rewind. I am also going to just answer Frankie Frank's question before I go. I love Tangerine Dream. Love Tangerine Dream. I just wish their albums weren't so expensive. But yeah, love Tangerine Dream. I could just float off with that. And Geo616, yeah, Angelotch. Really enjoy their stuff. Yeah, fun. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. You guys are definitely the best. And yeah, thank you guys for coming on board as well. You made this evening a very, very enjoyable one. So, yeah, thank you. And I guess until next time, so as I mentioned at the beginning, I probably won't be able to get any videos out this week, but look for them next week. Apologies, because I've been trying to do at least like 2 or 3 videos each week. And, wow, this sign-off is getting really long, so I'm just going to end it there. Yeah, no video this week, putting out videos next week. So thank you guys, love you all, you guys are definitely the best, and until next time, note